I think what we're really living in the world today is a world where computer science is assisting us in very specific and dedicated applications. The most profound technologies are those that disappear. They vanish because they weave themselves so well into what we do on a daily basis in our jobs that they become indistinguishable from our everyday life. Very often we forget that what we're seeing on our Facebook newsfeed is not what we select to see, but what an AI application at Facebook decides that we should see based on some data points about our personality. Change is really the fundamental topic behind artificial intelligence. We're getting faster at doing things well, and we're getting faster in our ability to use technology to improve humankind. And this is what transformation looks like. This is how, in the 1400s, we go from Gutenberg's printing press, but in the last 5 years, we see this type of upward swing. This is exactly what we typically call Moore's Law, right? Every 18 months, we entirely double the speed and abilities that we have. But how is this change impacting work? How is this change impacting the workplace? We need to face the reality that today you are all technology companies. Forget the traditional label of your company. You are a technology firm, and it is your duty to select the technologies, the platforms, and the business models to best support your organization. Very often, we tend to forget how radical technology gets cheaper. And it's the plummeting of the price, not the technology itself, that changes the world. Now here's an example with a light bulb. The light bulb was revolutionary. It was safer, it was controllable when compared to oil or candle, but what made this technology transformative was not its invention, but its price reduction. This light bulb became ubiquitous when everyone could afford it. The cost of AI is plummeting. What today your team might say is unaffordable is likely to be very affordable in 3 months, not in 3 years, because the speed at which we compete and bring new products to the market is hugely fast. Artificial intelligence is ultimately about predictions. Google is predicting what I search even before I finish my sentence. But let's think about that for a moment. If AI becomes really good at predicting a medical condition, cancer, asthma, what's the need of insurance companies? If AI becomes really good at predicting employee behavior, how should we think about our role? What if it could measure and predict the fit of a candidate before we employ him or her? What if it could predict how able this candidate is to assimilate our induction content? And if the answer to that prediction is that it is likely that this won't work, what would our actions be? AI is really challenging the law to catch up. Did you know that only last year there was a motion tabled in the European Parliament that said, because European bots have growing intelligence, growing pervasiveness, growing autonomy, then we have to rethink our entire HR and legal employment processes. This proposal actually recommended that the employers of the bot should be demanded to pay social security for the bots that they employ, and that the bots should be given separate legal personality, electronic persons, which therefore would allow them to sue or be sued. Did you know that in Italy, not on this chart, and France, on this chart, 4th position, 90% of employees are either not engaged or actively disengaged? It's crazy. We have an alienated workforce, and your duty is to provide a compelling experience to these people. And AI is just the tool to do that. Because what usually leads to a negative, disengaged experience is routine, repetitive tasks. How can I introduce AI into my workplace to remove these drab, routine, but processes and instead allow my human employees to really work on what they're great at? I believe that today, about 45% of all the work processes that you see are probably automatable through AI. And I challenge you to look for these 45%. So this is a Deloitte UK study from last summer. And it lists the main challenges that HR executives like yourself find in adopting AI. You need to wrestle with this. And I think there are 4 ways that you could wrestle with this. Firstly, strategic thinking. Focus on the big picture. Where are the global trends? Where are the industry leaders going? Secondly, experiment. HR should be an agile process where you pick technologies, you try them, sometimes you'll fail, sometimes you'll succeed, but you'll learn from both those experiences and scale up. Thirdly, bring on people. Use the EY example and data scientists. You need to hire or outsource specialist skills at all levels, probably at board level to help your shareholders and stakeholders understand the necessity of AI, at management level and at operational level. And lastly, perhaps my favorite tip, be a bookworm. Read, read, and read. And most of these areas, because they are digital, actually live online, which make access to reading easier. And this is probably what you should be looking at. This is statistically the areas in HR which are mostly able, have the greatest potential to grow. Obviously, the first 3, analytics and metrics, talent acquisition, performance management. This is probably where you want to be investing. This is probably where you want to be reading about. Okay, let me end with this. So this is really a lovely statement by Robert Persing. So Robert said, if you run from technology, it will chase you. Right? And I invite you to embrace this opportunity to change. AI needs a new strategy in your company. It needs speed and agility. It needs training and retraining of your talent. It needs the ability to positively disrupt old work practices and old ways of thinking. It's really about the setting of a new HR architecture which can allow a very central role to AI. Thank you.